You know, that not much rhymes with draft. We'll make game for a laugh. Yeah. You ready, TJ?
I'm ready.
Hey! Were you disappointed with that? The thing is, my vision is slightly obscured by these glasses. They're not my prescription. But there we go. So this is...
it's like all the hair I cut off.
Yeah. And it's the same colour as yours. Exact same colour as yours. Look. We'll look like twins. Let me put you next to... Oops. Wait a minute. I've broken everything. I can't see what I'm clicking on. On my screen, everything's going... Oh, there we go. TJ, there we go. Go side by side.
There we go.
Yeah.
See, I've donated all my hair to you.
There we go. That's it. Good. I'm going to take these off. Oh. I might keep the hair just to help people find the right video on YouTube. But welcome, we're Impact Gamers. And what do we do in these sessions, Game for a Laugh, TJ?
We pick a subject and then we make a game in 3 sessions based off that particular emotion or feeling. Yeah,
and we've done a few. So we did about prioritizing stuff, and you can play these games at igamers.io and play the fantastic priority game that we made.
It's looking very snazzy.
Will the tea land?
Oh, it stayed on.
Yeah, we won't make you suffer that. And then last week, that was 2 weeks ago. Last week, what did we make? Choose the right box.
Yes.
So it's all
choose all the boxes that are the same.
That's amazing, TJ.
That's another staff member who we don't really
talk about. There we go. So this game is all about
good job, next level.
Not judging others, and so working out.
Good job, next level.
Which one's different? But let me warn you, it's not just the colours of the boxes. You work it out, or you look at the code, you sort it out.
Yeah, as I learned earlier.
Yes. Oh. And so today we're going to deal with disappointment. So something that we have to deal with a lot in life, especially with COVID-19 happening. Lots of things that people wanted to do, couldn't do. People couldn't get married. People couldn't see their family and friends. Lots of disappointment. And if you live in Leicester, it could be disappointing for you if you wanted to go to the pub next week. So, but all for the greater good. But we're just going to talk about general disappointment, not disappointment from anything good or bad. Oh, no, wait a minute. I think you have to have disappointment about something good, don't you? Can't ever be disappointed something bad hasn't happened.
Yeah, because it's called relief then, isn't it? If plans fall through and you didn't want to do them.
Yeah. So there we go. So it is disappointment from something good. So we're going to base a game where you're trying to do something good, but it could all fall flat on itself. So we're using Clickteam Fusion. TJ, tell us a little bit about Clickteam Fusion.
So Clickteam Fusion uses visual coding. So you do your coding rather than writing it out in a coding language like JavaScript. You actually do it by making an event. So you set a condition and then you add an action to that condition. So for example, you would say if an object bumps into another object, and then you say as the action what you want the response to be. So you're telling the computer what you want to happen at that moment. And that is how the coding works. But it's really good because you can include all your assets and your coding in the same program, so you can make games and render objects of it quite easily. And I said
asset.
Which word did I use?
Asset. We've spoken about it in other sessions, but in this session, what's an easier word for it?
So an asset is an object in your game. It can be a playable character. It can be something you pick up. It is just something which is existing in the game.
Very true. Right, okay, this is going to be the player. And I'm going to just fill him with a block or her with a block because when you're making a game, you don't want to concentrate on the artwork at the beginning. If you do, you can end up just with the pitfall of making a pretty picture and it not actually having any game-like elements to it. So I'm going to choose a movement. Now, Clickteam Fusion, we really like it because you can quickly set types of movement for things. And I'm going to say that this one has a physics movement. It means I don't have to do any code for it. I'm going to say physics platform. It's just off the bottom. But then it tells me I need to insert a physics engine into the game. Now, let me just highlight that. Yes, there we go. So that's just another object, another asset to add in, and there it is. And I'll pop it outside. It's invisible, and it just contains all of the information about how physics works in the world, the gravity, how bouncy things are, things like that. Okay, so I've got a man. That's got a player one. Let's be more gender neutral. Player one. He's going to be controlled by physics, so gravity will pull him down. And we've got the floor. But if I run my application, we will soon see that the computer is stupid. It doesn't know that the floor, just because it's called a floor, works like a floor. And so it just falls straight through. So we're going to add our first line of code. And we do that in the event editor, which is like a grid-like picture there. And like TJ was saying,
we have a comment saying, "Nice hair, Adam."
Yeah, I know. It's TJ's hair. You should thank him. It's very good. All natural. Yeah, just growing out my roots. So new condition.
Just from a different human, yeah.
Synthetic human. So the new condition is this little guy. If he collides with another object, if he collides with the floor, we want him to stop, and that's just as simple as it needs to be. So there we go. That's our first bug. He is in immense pain. You hear him scream. Ah! Yeah, it's just... Now, you might notice that he's stopping at the same point. I'm not sure whether that's because it's caught his major lungs or rib cage or something like that. But he stopped at the same point because I paid no attention to the warning that came up. If you're paying attention to the warning that came up, when you choose the physics movement of platform, it tells you usefully, or I just change it to static and then change it again. It says, I've turned it off. It normally says, make sure hotspots are positioned at the bottom of your object, which really means if you click on the eye, that eye is going to be where their feet are. So move it to the bottom. So let's try that again. Let's run our application and let's fix that bug. Perfect. Okay, there you go. Now standing on there. Now we use Shift as the default button to press, but annoyingly, if you press Shift 5 times, try it at home, you'll get sticky keys. Yeah, we hate it. It's Windows thinks that you want some accessible options to press buttons on your keyboard for you. So people who only have one hand or have to type holding a stick in their mouth, then they will use sticky keys to turn on Shift, to turn on Alt and Control and things that you'd normally hold down with multiple fingers. That just messes up games in Clickteam Fusion. So we are going to change the default controls. Right, at the bottom of this list, default controls. Yeah, thank you very much. And so we can choose to have joystick controls or keyboard controls. Interestingly, if I choose joystick controls, it will revert to keyboard if a joystick's not plugged in. But to set keyboard controls, I need to click here. And let's have a look. So up, down, left, right, fine. But button one, I'm going to change to spacebar. Good old traditional spacebar. Good. Which reminds me of a joke. Where do astronauts go to drink?
The space bar.
They're not allowed to drink. It's against NASA protocol.
Oh my!
So there you go. Right, good old non-jokes. We love a non-joke. If you've got any good non-jokes, put them in. I've got got quite a few. What do you get if you don't drink while I'm telling the jokes, TJ? B3D spit bucket. What do you get if you cross a sheep with a kangaroo?
Oh.
You meant to say woolly jumper. Okay. What do you get if you cross a sheep with a kangaroo?
Woolly jumper.
Fired from the Genetics Institute. There we go. Right. Okay. Go on. What do you call a deer with no eyes?
No idea.
a blind deer. What do you call a deer with no eyes and no legs? The RSPCA.
Still
There we go.
No idea.
No.
Oh.
There's a delay for Zoom. Okay, right. These jokes are amazing, but that's not what we're doing. We're dealing with disappointment, which jokes often bring about, which will lead us to...
I'm not disappointed right now.
Oh, good. Our chocolate challenge. TJ's going to tell you in a few seconds, or now if he's managed to think of it, a question to do with disappointment, and you could win. Or maybe you won't. Maybe I won't send it to you. Yourself like
Arrow chocolate.
Arrow chocolate, and we'll post that to you if you live in the UK. So, TJ, do you have a question? Go on.
So nice and simple as the first session of the week. Just give me an example of a time you've been disappointed. You can make it funny if you want, or it can be really disappointing. So it's up to you. I just want an example of a time you've been disappointed. Okay.
Very good. Right. This could be a very sad. This could be a very sad topic to deal with. But yeah, I've now cloned my floor, so I've got a second floor called Floor 2. Amazingly, that's what happens when you clone objects. And I'm going to set this to have a movement of bouncing ball. Bouncing ball movement doesn't actually bounce unless you tell it, and I'm going to say it goes downwards. And I'm going to. There we go. And now if I run my application, I will just have a floor going past me. Now, my thoughts for this game, TJ, is that I would build multiple floors to get higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, because that's how we describe our emotions. Feeling high and happy, or feeling low and down. And disappointment, I think, is that change from the high to the low. And so it's the amount that you drop. So it's going to be a game where you drop quite a lot. You work your way up and you drop. So what we'll do is we'll have a moving platform here, and I love a bit of alpha blending coefficient. So let's add that to this. Alpha blending coefficient. How see-through things are, really. And that's TJ can think of something. So blending coefficient. So 255 is the max. So let's go 1 to 8 halfway. Okay. Now, this is going to go downwards, and I'm going to say a new condition that if you jump, which we decided was spacebar, but we will do it on the joystick. So re-joystick state, button 1. Oh, where is it? Over here. Whoop. Button 1. And turn up off. We don't want up on, so just far button 1. Then we will then create an object. We will create a floor object where it is, and then I think if we set its position, if we select its position to be, position, how big is it? We can find out if we click here. No, can we click here? No, we need to go into here and click here, movement size. So width, 106 pixels, the standard 106, let's make it 100. Let's not beat around the bush here. Let's deal with some standard numbers, 100. 100. Okay. And we will say that it then shuffles along by 100 pixels. Because it's 100 wide and we will move it by 100 pixels, it should just be the next one along. So position, set the X coordinate, which is left and right, to be its current position, X. And here we go. We have made an expression. Expression is just maths, really, isn't it?
Expression.
Yeah. How would you describe it?
Like an equation.
Yeah. So here we go. So it's like X plus 100.
It's a bit like algebra.
It's very much like algebra. And so we have this variable, which is just a number that changes. So the X position plus 100. Mm-hmm. And then we will set its Y position, which is the up-down position. We will set the Y coordinate to be, minus 100. There we go. Now, if I run the application... Oh, pants. Spacebar isn't working. But I thought...
Because you said that they're not allowed to use it.
Yeah, it is. It just hated my joke so much. What happened there? In my default controls, set to joystick. I've got a joystick plugged in, is my main issue in there. I will turn it off to default to joystick because it was waiting for me to press that, but my hands aren't big enough to do that. Flipping heck. Now, my jump height is not, my jump height is, no, it's just about enough. There we go. I can just get it, but I've lost my platform. So I think the speed that it travels down. Oh, pants. That is disappointing. The speed it travels down is a bit too quick. I made a game I just leave it like that. It's just it doesn't work. I think we'll make it that the speed of the platform drop-in is dependent on not that score. Sorry, I need a counter. I'm going to have this counter. I have it out of the way. I can even make it hidden in its display type. Here we go. Let's make it hidden. Hidden at the top. Who knew? Right. And it'll start off the initial value, maybe, I don't know, 10. And we will say that every time that you make a platform, we will also add to the counter. Let's add 1 to the counter. Now, let's run the application. So there I am. Jump onto that. Jump onto that. Oh, it's stopped. Oh, yay. I've made a little bit of a walkway. But I've lost myself, TJ. I don't know who I am anymore. No, I've just lost the player. So what we need to do is we need to make it so that the world is bigger. Now, normally, we would just stretch the frame. And TJ does some brilliant tutorials about making platform games. He is very particularly good at platform games. Is your Mario skill? What do you think is the main cause of you being so good at creating platform games?
Probably. It's odd because Sonic probably inspired me the most, but the style of platform games I make is not like Sonic. But yeah, I do like Mario. I like Mario a lot.
Great. So what we'd normally do is we'd normally stretch this frame out and follow it, set the scrolling to do that. I'm not going to do that, and I'll tell you why. Because, and I'll also name this Falling Floor. Falling Floor. Just for the simple fact of, I want this game to go on forever. I want this game to just keep going on and on and on and on and on for as long as it takes people to get to the top, so they can be disappointed and then work their way back up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the game really tall, but not very wide. So I'm going to make it so that we've got a big height to climb. And I want to do that in the actual application. No, I don't. The application stays the same. The frame changes size. And so, let's make it really big. Let's go for something crazy like 8,000. Okay, so that means that I scroll down, 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 down. I'll tell you what, these numbers, I want more 10,000 to standardize them. Okay, so there's the bottom of the screen, which means I need to position the player there. So I'm going to zoom out to 25% so I can see things tiny. I'm going to pull this down and pop it there. So I'm going to just say always, my special rule, scrolling positions, center the window positioning frame on the player. Great. Good. Now, we will have an issue that I'll be waiting probably about a week for that thing to fall down. Oh, no, it is going to come down at a heck of a speed. I never fixed that. I realized I could be waiting here a very long time. In fact, I could be waiting here forever because Clickteam Fusion likes to save memory and deletes things that are too far away from you. So I'm just going to turn off destroy of too far from frame. I need to say always set the falling speed. This is what I didn't do, to the counter. I got the counter to change value, but I didn't get it. So this equation is just simply the speed is whatever the counter is. That's it. Fine. And I need to set it.
You have one answer?
Yes, go on.
So today, because I had a letter about my form tutor and I got my second favourite one, but I am disappointed that I didn't get my first favourite one. Yeah. Yeah, I tell you what, good advice for when you got a new teacher. Be really good for the first 2 weeks. No chatting to your mates, paying attention, trying to answer questions, offering to help tidy up. In 2 weeks, teachers form an opinion of you that lasts forever. So, that's why the kid who gets in trouble in the first week kind of gets expelled by the end of the year. People are not very good at judging others, and so they kind of form their judgment in the first 2 weeks. Be good in your first 2 weeks, you'll have an ace time at school. Be bad in the first week at school, and then you can come to Impact Gamers, will be nice. So, So we don't want to set the Y coordinate to -100. That is at the very top of the screen,
miles away. So we want to set it to whatever the frame, the y coordinate, the top visible edge minus 100. So it's going to appear just above that. So now, and we'll do that at the start of the frame as well. At the start of the frame, we will do that as well. And what we'll do is we will go all the way up here, grab this, and go all the way back down. Down, 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 down. And I just want to position it there. Right, okay. Now, at the start frame, it should reposition it. Here we go. I'm still waiting. I'm going to call that a bug. I'm going to have a look at the debugger window to see what on earth is happening to the falling platform. Active objects. Falling floor. It's just not moving. It's not moving at all. Its Y position is minus 100. It's staying there. Always. Set the speed. When you press fire, set the position. Start of the frame, set the position. So it's not moving. What's the counter? What is the counter set to 0? That's it. My only thought. If it doesn't have a speed, the counter's initial value is 10. Why isn't it moving at 10? I'm going to pop that on the screen. Interesting. This is a bug that has confused me. Run need to stop the application. Run it again. Run the application. Yeah, there it is. Falling floor minus 100. Movement. Current speed of 10. It's moving at 10, but it's locked in the same position. Something is holding it back. Something is trapping it. Something is keeping it at that position. Now, so what we can do is we can filter all of the rules just to see which ones affect it. And so I'm just going to click on falling floor. These are the only rules that affect it. When I press fire button 1, instantaneous green thing. So green option only runs for an instant. That's fine. Always set speed. Start a frame. Set position. I'm going to turn that off. Inactivate that rule and try it. So we'll go through the rules one by one to see what's happening. Okay, so now it's moving. We can see it's heading off the screen because we placed it at the bottom. Okay. So let's activate that again. Set the position. Set the frame. I'm going to say, I'm going to change it from start of frame. I'm going to replace that. Maybe it's happening before the game's loading properly. So I'm going to say, is the timer equal to a certain value? I'm going to give you 1 second to get yourself ready and then do that.
You have 1 second.
Oh, look, there it is. That's fine. It's now in the right position, but its movement is not moving. It says it's got a speed of 10, but it's just not moving. So position there. Movement, start. I don't understand why it would be stopped, but let's try that. Let's see if it's just that it's stopped. Let's run the application. Nope. Again, it's not moving. It is not moving. Set speed to that. Right. Okay. So we found a bug that I just have no idea. So we'll do a workaround. TJ, in coding, what's a workaround?
So sometimes in coding there are ways to do something, and then there's an extra way of doing it, which will have the same result, but it might be slightly longer to code, or you can find a quicker route. So a workaround is an alternate way to end up with the same result. Sometimes too much code can be put in and the order can be mixed up. So some people might throw something into a group. So in the code the group, it applies to everything in it, and that's a quick way of doing it. But yeah, workarounds can help get to the same place in a different way.
Yes. And the speed is the thing that's causing a problem. So we're going to ignore the speed. The floor is now going to be a static object, and I'm going to code my own movement and just work around it that way. So every 1,000th of a second, which seems a lot, we are going to, let's edit that. We're going to set it to let's set it to 60 minus this counter. So as the counter gets bigger, the time between will get smaller. So it'll start off moving at 60, and then as we jump, it will move every 59th of a second. So let's try that. Let's say that. And then what we're going to do is the movement we want is we just want to set the position, set the Y coordinate to be whatever its current Y coordinate is, +1. Okay, let's try this. Great. And let's replace that with start of frame, which is what we wanted. Now, look at that. There's the position coming down as we wanted it. So that workaround's worked, but it hasn't positioned it in the right place. And I think the issue for that is at the start of the frame, we haven't centered the display. So we're going to put that rule in there and bring it to the top, center the display before you do anything else. And we can get rid of that start because there's nothing to start there because it does have no movement. It is just being positioned. And here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. There's our platform. It's quite a slow speed, to be honest. So this is more about a patience game than a. Oh look! I've even positioned it at a place I can't reach. Oh dear! And is it going to come down again? Let's wait for it to come down. It's going to come down at a ridiculously slow speed.
Is it worth putting up adjusting gravity or the actual just for jump strength?
Yeah, I think the jump strength definitely needs some fixing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just change this to 30 minus the counter, get it moving twice as fast from the very beginning. Here it comes down. That's a bit better. Maybe even 20. There we go. And it comes down. So do we have a star prize for the chocolate challenge, TJ?
We do indeed.
Great.
So
quick.
Message in chat who won, and I believe we already have your address so we can send it out to you.
But if you wanted it sent to someone else, let us know. Oh, look at this. This is going to be tricky. Oh.
I've let you know in the comments of our winner, so you can expect some Aero chocolate.
Right. Now, do you remember what I said about sideways movement, TJ? That I was going to sort out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a simple bit of coding to get everything to move in the world. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put everything in a group. So I will add a qualifier and I will just call them physical objects, maybe. Physical objects. Just going to say the physical objects. So I want to know where your player is past his position. So his position here is 85. So I want to say a new condition. If your player, if their position is greater than 85, they've moved too far away from the screen. So if it's greater than 85, then I will start a loop. Now, loops are just things that happen multiple times. I will start a loop called repause for reposition, and I will run it the position that they are minus 85. So if they've gone to 100, it will run this 15 times. If they've gone to 86, it'll just run it once. And on my special loop called repause, I'm just going to say everything in the world moves left. So position, set your current X coordinate to be, this is going to go wrong. I know it's going to go wrong. With 1 minute to go, it's going to go wrong. But anyway, let's see. Oh, it seems to work. Look at that. I've made my own scrolling effect. You ready, TJ?
Do it.
There we go.
Oh, nice.
So, in fact, as I walk forwards, the whole world moved backwards. And so, there we go. Now, it does seem a little bit jittery, but I'm sure we can smooth that out. There we go. And I am working my way up and up and up, and then disappointment. There we go.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. There we go. So we'll need to adjust the speed of the things falling, adjust our jump strength, and carry on next session to get to the thing that we want to, or end up being disappointed. So let's save this as disappointment. TJ, some wise words to end the show.
If something happens and you are disappointed because of it, try and see if there is a way of improving the situation instead of just letting it, make you feel upset and stuff. Sometimes things can be adjusted. If not, though, and we don't like things to be disappointing. But if we have our health and stuff like that, then there's always that kind of stuff to prioritize. Which I know was another week's lesson, prioritising.
Yeah. There you go. A very somber response from there, TJ. So, if something's disappointed you...
Instead of me just drinking my tea and going, what?
Don't give up. And also, you concentrate on the things that you've still got, not the things that you've lost. Great. Yeah. Okay, we will see you on Wednesday. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
This is the intro we did for the show, but we're not musical, as you may know. So we'll keep it just for a bit, as we do have words that kind of fit. If you can, make a better one, send it in, and that'll be fun, because we'll use it, get everyone laughing, because this one is embarrassing. TJ, I thought you could dance at this bit.
No.
TJ, are you dancing?
No, I'm not.
So come along and watch us code, make some stuff, and help you know that not much rhymes with draft will make game for a laugh.